welcome back to another episode of Sister in Sync. In this episode, we're going to be talking everything relationships.
That is dilemmas,
Deal breakers,
and pet peeves. Welcome back. I hope everyone has had a really lovely April.
Yeah.
Enjoyed some of the sunshine.
I feel like it's going so fast, actually.
It's going so fast.
The year is just going so fast, I just don't want to talk about it.
I know.
It's going to go within a blink of an eye.
It's literally giving me whiplash. I'm like just seeing my diary filling up. I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time.
Summer is like filling up very, very quickly.
Okay, so I thought we would start off with a little dilemma to kick us off.
Relationship dilemma.
Yes. And I guess as our resident taken queen, aka she's off the market, guys.
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know what the hell you're talking about.
You could maybe like chip into it from your perspective.
Yeah, I think everyone has like deal breakers, pet peeves. No matter whether you're single, in a relationship, or whatever, everyone has an idea of what they want.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so this one is it's an AITA. So for those that don't know what that stands for, it's like, am I the asshole? And it says, for losing my mind because my wife keeps lying about passing gas. Right, it gets juicy. I'll read out the story. It goes, I can't believe I'm even writing this right now. The answer is so obvious to me, but I feel like I'm being manipulated. But I don't see why. So, I'm 36 male, have been with my wife, 35 female, for a decade. Everything is great. She's my best friend. We have fun together. And she's my favourite person to spend time with. But as of late, something weird has been up. Look, 10 years in, you get pretty comfortable with each other. You've seen each other at your worst and really been through it. Which means, yes, we've passed gas from both ends and used the bathroom in front of each other. No big deal. For the past year, my wife has been farting more than usual. Again, I don't care. It's not a huge problem. But these are some pretty vile stinkers. And this might seem funny, but we're in a small one-bedroom space that's poorly ventilated. Can you imagine?
Just open a window.
Like...
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
So you can imagine that there's a limit to what one can take before one politely says, babe, I love you, but you got to go to the bathroom. Here's the weird part. Without fail, she will deny it is her every single time. She'll look at me weirdly and question what I mean. At first, I thought she was being cheeky, so I let it go. But when it started happening every single day, I got worried. I asked her if there was something to be worried about. We're nearing 40. You never know. And she just looked at me weirdly and said, with utmost emphasis and assertion, I can't even say that, that she did not know what I meant. The next time it happened, I asked her if she smelt it, and she said no, and I looked at her wide-eyed because there was no way she couldn't smell it. My eyes were burning from the smell, and she's telling me she can't even smell it. I eventually confronted her, and she said it's probably a gas leak or sulfur leak or something, which, okay, fair. But we had this place inspected, and nothing out of the ordinary turned up. I tried to confront her again, and her answer really, really made me reel. She said, and I quote, could be a demon if it smells like rotten eggs. I'm sorry. Is it really easier to try convince me our house is haunted than just admit she's the one doing it? We live alone. I can hear it. But she has no reaction and firmly denies it every time. We recently had a small spat over it, and where I asked her why she was choosing this hill to die on and lie for, and she looked at me like I'd given her the finger. She's gone silent, and I'm now fully losing my mind trying to figure out if I'm the asshole for calling her out or if I'm just going insane. So, he's asking, is he the asshole?
He is not an asshole. He is not a bad guy. Like, for me, I was getting so annoyed by that story because, okay, so in their relationship, they've decided that they're gonna be comfortable with each other in those types of ways.
Yeah.
But the fact that she kept doing it and denying was getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Because just admit it. If you're comfortable with doing it in front of someone in someone's space,
Exactly.
at least admit that you've done it, you know?
Yeah.
And not blame it on a demon,
Can
a
you
soul
imagine?
freak. I'll be like, excuse me?
That's like next level of like gaslighting over something so small.
Yeah. And that's
That's a slippery slope.
But in my opinion, it may be controversial. I feel like there's some things that you don't, how do I explain this? There's some things that you keep to yourself.
Okay.
I wouldn't go so comfortable with my partner like that.
Really?
Yeah, no. Like, to the fact that you're doing that in bed, you're just doing it around them all the time. I feel like there's some things that should be kept secret in a relationship. And not, like, everything you keep secret. But, I don't know, like, that is a part of your privacy. And I just don't think to do that all the time around someone, that's not something I would be comfortable with.
That just sounds like so much admin to be like, oh, I need to fart, so I'm just going to hold it in and then run to the bathroom and then make sure that he doesn't hear, etc. Like when you're living together and you've been in a relationship for 10 years.
Yeah, but I would remove myself, like, from the fact that they're so comfortable that they're doing it in bed, that they're doing it around each other. Like, I think that's disgusting. In my opinion, like, I would remove myself. Like, obviously, we're all human beings and we all do that. But I don't know. I feel like there's some level of things that you do need to keep to yourself, and there is a little bit of a boundary there.
I think it depends. Like, if you know that, like, you're currently going through something and you have an issue, and you know if you're letting it rip, it's going to be stinking up the whole place, take yourself to the bathroom. You can, like, you know, or just say, like, I'm sorry, can't hold it in, open the windows. Or get the air freshener, you know? Just, like, warn the person.
Yeah.
And
I think that's it. Like,
you know,
I think
warn
they
the
got so
person.
comfortable that there was no warning, it was just doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this
And then gaslight. It's like, why?
in this situation, like, obviously there was something more major going on with her body, whatever that was. Maybe it was a health crisis, maybe it was something
Oh, because she's been eating
else
something.
or whatever. I don't know. But in this area, she was getting embarrassed about it. But it sounded like they weren't embarrassed about it before.
It's true, because, like, if she's done it before and now she's, like, fully denying it and stuff, like, maybe because he's got such a strong reaction to it. So, it, like, might be because the severity of it. And then she's just like, oh, actually, I'm
But I
actually...
wouldn't keep doing it, though. If I was embarrassed about something, if I did something and then my partner was, like, had a strong reaction to it, I wouldn't
But
keep
what if it was
doing
an accident? But there's, like, it's like, if with farting, like, it sometimes just slips out.
Yeah, of course. And you go, sorry, do you know what I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, there's, like, boundaries and there's levels to it, in my opinion.
Like, I think, like, if someone has, like, said, like, oh, that's, like, actually pungent and I can barely breathe, you know, like, I think I would be a bit more, like, mindful and then be like, okay, like, I'm gonna let you know, can't hold it in, like, open the window, I'm gonna take myself what I need to do, like, to the bathroom or whatever, and give something a forewarning, just to give someone a courtesy. So I think the gaslighting is just, like, what, like, it's unnecessary. Like, you've been with this person for 10 years. You should
be comfortable with them.
To at least have that conversation. To say, like, I'm sure he's seen you in, like, worse positions, so why would you lie about it? To then say it's a demon.
No, I know. It's a sulfur leak. It's a demon.
And then if it's a sulfur leak, I'll be getting, okay, like, let's get the people in. We need to test the pipes. Because sulfur, that's usually an indication that something more sinister is going on.
What is that?
Sulfur leak is usually in association, I don't know, I might be wrong, but like gas leak or whatever. If I'm hearing Sulphur League, like an
That sounds
inspector's coming,
serious.
that sounds serious.
Yeah, that sounds something serious.
Like an inspector needs to come, you know,
Yeah.
or like your sewage is about to blow up. I don't
So,
know.
are you happy with sharing everything with your partner in like all of those ways? Because the amount of time I've clenched my butt cheeks.
What in your like?
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's just
still at the clench and butt cheeks.
really.
I don't know. I feel like I'll always be like that. I just don't. I wouldn't want someone to feel so comfortable to do that around me. So I just don't feel comfortable to do that always. Like, if it was an accident, like, yeah, whatever, you just let it go.
I think.
But I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable to just, like, purposely do it by someone. I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want a friend to do that to me. I wouldn't want a partner to do that. I wouldn't want a family member to do that to me.
No, but I'm just deep in it. If we're 10 years in and like we're married and you've seen me give birth to a child and everything, because childbirth is not pretty, like in that sense.
Yeah,
but again,
that's
I wouldn't
a
lose.
necessity, like.
Yeah, but I wouldn't lose like my
And that's
consideration.
beautiful.
But I wouldn't lose my consideration for the other person. But like for me to be worrying about clenching.
No, it's not an unhealthy clench. It's
like,
just a now and again.
I'd be a bit. I think if we're 10 years down the line, like we're either comfortable or we're not.
I feel like there's levels.
But the point there is levels. So the point here is like, if there's something going on and I know mine are like, for whatever reason, extremely pungent because of something that I've ate or whatever, like I wouldn't just be like doing it, denying it, and then gaslighting the person. I would then at that point would be like considerate enough to at least like go to the bathroom, because I don't want to be sat in a house that absolutely stinks of my farts.
Did this guy have updates?
Yeah, I think there was actually.
Like, what was the end result of this? Because did they solve it? Did they not? Was she?
I was like,
is she still gaslighting him to this day?
It's crazy to gaslight. Okay, edit clarification was. Someone said I should include the fact that I can hear the passing of gas many times. Not always, but most of the time. Her not farting in front of guests is also what is pushing my buttons.
So she's not doing it in front of guests.
Is she faking it?
She's just trying to scare him out of the relationship. I think she's done with the relationship and she just wants to scare him away.
So is he farting around me and gaslighting me constantly
kill him.
for a year? Let's say this is the case. Why? What's the end goal? You say
literally. What is the end goal? She don't want this no more.
Someone suggested a medical checkup. I have pushed for it. She has playfully declined, and the more I pushed, the firmer she got about dropping it, saying I was taking the joke too far. So he said we have both had COVID twice. As mentioned before, we have passed gas previously in front of each other before any embarrassment. It is this sudden increase in frequency and the alleged lying that has me puzzled. There's another update. Edit number 2 update. So this blew up, even though I used to throw away. I think there was enough identifying factors. She found the post. It was the 3rd post she saw when she opened Reddit. I think I'll have to pause the replies to go have a more serious sit down with her consent. I will update you all further. Edit number 3.
Oh my god.
Wow, I am at a loss for words. So after she saw the post, she was understandably pissed off. She said I violated her trust over something trivial and untrue.
So she's still lying about it.
I asked her to be real with me and sincerely tell me if she truly did not know what was up, and she said she could neither feel, smell, nor hear herself. She then, in all seriousness, asked me if I was pulling some shit, which I vehemently denied. And I then brought up the medical concerns, which she tried to brush away. I offered to go with her, and she said that I was welcome to have a doctor mess my head up, but she wasn't going to do the same. When I insisted, she got really mad and called me controlling and gaslighting. We're currently not speaking to each other. I have tried, but she will not budge. She said, and I quote, why don't you cry about it to your little incel group? I have
She
no idea how to
sounds
pronounce.
toxic. I'm not gonna lie. There's certain elements of her. She sounds a bit toxic. I think I don't know. There's two things to this. She's either got major health issues and she doesn't wanna like realize that that's the case, or she just done with this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the way that she's acting over something that is in a sense trivial, but the fact that you're making it a big issue because you're lying and gaslighting him, it doesn't make it trivial anymore.
No.
You know how there's arguments that can kind of blow up
for no reason.
It's like but because a person is acting a certain type of way,
yeah,
that's why it's blowing up.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't understand.
Imagine saying like, oh, you like, oh, why are you not together anymore? Yeah, because she was farting. It's not because of that. It's because she was lying, like gaslighting me. You know, not being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's mad. He's not. Yeah, he's in the right. She's in the wrong. Even the fact that he put it on Reddit. He's just trying to get some answers. He was just trying to get some clarity from other people. Obviously, maybe go to your family members and your friends, like, and not put it online. But I don't know. I think she just blew everything out of proportion.
I wonder whether she lost her sense of smell from COVID and generally cannot smell. And because they're silent, she doesn't feel themselves passing gas. And he's just like suffering. That's why she's like adamant that it's not true. Because how can you keep lying about this?
Yeah, it's odd behavior.
Like,
yeah,
it's
but
weird.
Even if I had COVID and I couldn't smell, I would still believe my partner. Like, if my partner was like, "Girl, like, you're doing this."
That's true. Actually, I
would be like, "Oh, I'm really sorry."
Yeah, because I think it's the convincing of like it's not true. Like, I think if someone keeps saying the same thing, I'm like,
yeah,
hold on, like maybe it is, like maybe okay, we'll go do a doctor's check or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It's the kind of character like she can never be wrong.
Yeah,
you know them types of girls that they can never be wrong. You know.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
I was once that person.
Yes, I know.
Hey, it was before you knew me, actually. I had no self-growth.
Well, yeah, true. Let's just leave it there.
Nah, but I wouldn't do something like that, though. Like, I would just be like, I'm sorry. I would be embarrassed, but I would be like, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, you'd be embarrassed, but then, like, if someone, like, I think, like, I'm just deeping is like, if this is my husband for 10 years, like, this is probably the person that probably knows me better than I know myself. And if he adamantly says, like, listen, honey, I know, like, we've done this, but this is, like, on another level. Like, I think we need to see a doctor or whatever. I'm generally concerned, like, what's going on. To then keep brushing it off and then downplaying it, that makes me think, like, no, you're actually lying. Because, like, going to the doctor means, like, they would confirm it, and then you have to admit it, and you've now decided to die on this hill for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like, but it's stupid.
I know.
Because, like he didn't have to take it to Reddit. Like, it's the fact that you keep gaslighting him that you felt the need to go online about it.
I know. And now your story's out there.
Your story's out there.
I'm interested to know who it is. Like, and what also, this person looks like, you know, what their relationship.
But also, like. The wildest comeback was like, "Oh, go cry about it to your incel group." It was like,
that's just her being petty. That's her being petty because, you know, she found all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But what is your deal breakers in a relationship?
Yeah. So, like, I think that brings us on the point. Well, actually, would you say that this would be one of your deal breakers?
I think, obviously, the act, like, the things that she's doing isn't a deal breaker. It isn't, like, a big annoyance, but isn't a deal breaker. But it's the type of attitude that you have. And I think those types of underlying things can be deal breakers to people. Yeah. And also potentially myself. Yeah. Someone that gaslights is a deal breaker. Someone that, can't like doesn't hold accountability for the things
Yeah.
that they've done. So that goes under obviously emotional intelligence and stuff like that,
Yeah.
self-reflection. So all of the core values, I would say, is 100% a deal breaker. It's just how someone acts in a situation, and I think how you are in a relationship also determines how you react in certain situations can determine how strong you are in a relationship as well.
I think like I was talking about this with someone actually, because people were just curious of what the topic was, and I was asked like what would be my deal breaker. Obviously I'm not in a relationship, so for me it's a kind of a different perspective, because I've been single for a long time.
You've gained peace through that, though.
Yeah,
Peace and clarity.
Like, I think at this point I'm thinking I maybe
Because
may have protected my peace.
It ain't all dandy on our side of the field.
Yeah, I keep seeing those memes on Instagram. It's like, oh, I think I've protected my peace too hard.
Yeah, no, I've been seeing memes like that.
I was like, yep, that's me. But we digress. But I was talking about like what would be my biggest deal breaker, and I think the biggest deal breaker would be like consistent lying, the consistent lying. So I think in this situation, like it's the fact that you're lying, and I know that you're lying. That would be the absolute deal breaker. Like I think everything can be discussed and everything can be like talked through. Like if we're actually like together and we love each other. But if like I think the lying just removes the opportunity from having like honest conversations about it and actually working it out.
Yeah, it's like someone putting their hand in your face. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think that's my biggest frustration. So I think someone that's a consistent liar, and I think it'll be someone that also just lies about like unnecessary little things. I understand sometimes people lie to kind of protect someone's feelings. And things, but it's just that the lying about like really stupid little things. I'm just like, even though to be fair, like sometimes I end up doing it, and then I'm realizing I don't understand why I've lied about this.
What,
so
like
little white lies.
Like a little white lie.
Yeah, but then
would you do that in a relationship?
I don't think I would want to. Like I'm gonna say it right here, right now, that I don't want to. I don't want to be doing that in a relationship. So I hope that I never have to, and like we would have a level of communication that is that transparent.
What would make you like say a white lie though? Like obviously you're being honest and you're saying I don't want to.
Yeah.
But what would make you like have the white lies?
I don't know. I think I can see why someone may
if you get a reaction from like a bad reaction from someone or something, the fear of that.
Yeah, the fear of the reaction. So I think if I don't like your reaction, number one, and I think number two would be like probably out of embarrassment. Like it would be an element of us.
Little thing,
yeah,
yeah.
Out of embarrassment.
If it doesn't hurt, like if it definitely doesn't hurt someone else, like you know them little ones where it's generally it just saves your embarrassment. It's not gonna actually hurt. You're not betraying someone. It's not gonna hurt someone else.
Yeah,
you know.
So I think that would be it.
I have a question.
Okay, hit me with the question.
Well, do you think people stand by their non-negotiables on deal breakers, or do you think some people end up bending them?
I think people bend them. I think people come in with like an idea, and I think once they get to know someone, once they become comfortable, once they're in love as well, like I think love makes you become way more understanding, and in some cases very stupid. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some foolishness.
Is that a better word?
I don't think it's naivety, because some of it is stupidity. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, true.
I've seen some wild stuff, and I'm like, you've lost your mind. You have taken the brain and you've put it in a box.
Yeah.
So I think Yeah, I think everyone goes in like, oh, these are my non-negotiables, and then they start like, I actually really, really like the person, and you start bending, and then you start conforming, and then like you kind of like sway. And I think it's understanding though, like, because sometimes our non-negotiables are purely dependent on the person, because like you've got these little ones. It's like, oh, um like, I don't know, one silly one that could be like, oh, my non-negotiable is like, when it comes to like dating or someone that I'm interested in, it's like he has to have a full set of hair. But then you meet someone
I
that's
hate
got
the
like,
non-negotiables of aesthetics. Like, I think that's so. I think that's a little bit silly. Like, obviously everyone has their type and everyone has a preference, but when someone's so strict on the aesthetics
I
and has
agree.
that list,
I agree.
you're never gonna find a decent person, because the aesthetics is way more than the core values. And I think the troublesome thing about the people that bend on the core values can sometimes compromise their peace,
Yeah.
you know, and their health.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's more important to understand what your core values are, and then finding out what your non-negotiables are on those over like aesthetics, because I agree. I always try and like I always go back to remembering, and it's like our beauty and stuff like is fleeting, you know. We get old, the skin sags, we get wrinkles, our hair falls out, we go grey, you know, like we are not promised to look like how we look when we were younger for the rest of our lives. Some people have been blessed with amazing genetics, right? You know,
I hope it's gonna be me,
and
I'm
they
hoping
truly
it's gonna be
do.
you as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Well, at the
Your
moment,
mum's
one of
got
us.
good. Your mum's got good genetics.
Yes,
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment we're on the right track. So fingers crossed. But I'm getting the grey hair, so I don't know. My grey hairs might be coming in, but that's my dad's side.
No, I've got one grey hair.
No, I'm getting grey patches. It's there.
Yeah. But
But
not anymore. You've dyed your hair.
I would dye my hair. That's not why I dyed my hair. But yeah, I think it's just like it's like sometimes remembering, like, don't let your expectations like stop you from actually potentially meeting someone that's actually perfect for you, because you've kind of focused so hard on your list. And this is one thing that I'm finding so much. People are going into dating with like full-on shopping lists.
No, I know.
And I'm here like, I just want to
that
meet
had an
someone.
actual questionnaire. Like,
Yeah.
they actually sent a questionnaire document of the
Oh,
every
yeah,
person
yeah.
that they meet, and then they had to fill out like, but it was like dumb stuff like, do you have a job? Do you have a car? How tall are you?
It's
it was
stupid.
like, it was literally a shopping list, but in a formal document.
That's madness.
I could never. I don't have the time for that admin.
No.
You just find that out in the process. I feel like that takes away. That's very robotic, and it takes the element of being a human. You know.
Yeah, but it takes also the excitement of just getting to know someone.
The fun. You know?
You know.
That's someone who's fed up of dating.
That's someone that's not actually
Have you got
interested.
a job? Have you got a car? Have you got like the bare minimum? You know, like obviously a car. Yeah.
No, but that's someone that's
a job is definitely the bare minimum. In my opinion.
I don't even think it's someone that's fed up with dating. To me, that just screams like you're focusing again on materialistic things as opposed to someone's personality and like who they are at the core. Because you are literally selecting someone based on like your materialistic standards. And I get it, like preference and stuff like that, like it does play a role. But when it becomes, and we live in a society where that's literally the most important part at this moment in time, and it's such a shame because it leaves a whole group of people completely like isolated from like certain like social experiences because they just don't fit into any of these type of boxes. And I think that's wrong because I don't think that's how we were created. Like I just don't think that's ever was supposed to be part of humanity. I know there's a trend of it, but I just like, I don't know, there's something about it that just makes me like, ew. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. But
on that note, what would you say are your pet peeves when it comes to relationships? As someone that's in a relationship.
Like, do you know, like, what do you mean by pet peeves? As in, like, are you connecting that to non-negotiables, or just little things that annoy you?
So like icks, like there's icks, which is like, icks sometimes turn into like the non-negotiables. Like I've fully got the ick. I'm running a mile. Or like you look at your partner and it's like, that has actually fully given me the ick, and I just need to go away and process that kind of thing. So it's like pet peeves or like little annoyances. Like you drive me crazy when you do this.
Oh, I know I have loads. I know I have a couple. I'm just trying to remember them. I think like leaving stuff. Like, that could turn into a deal breaker for me. Like, I feel like my icks, if they don't get addressed, is like, can turn into something bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you leave, like, a little liquid or something on the side, or... Why you doing that face?
Go on.
Why you doing that face? Why being shady?
No. Go on.
Your face says it all. No, you go on. You're giving me the face I'm trying to explain. And you're like...
No, it just made me... Like, okay, the thing that made me laugh was like when you were saying like leaving things on the side. Like being an
Not
egg.
leaving things on the side, but like just like the obvious. Like, yeah, I can leave some stuff. Because I know what you're talking about. Where I become blind. But... Okay, leave me alone, man.
No, we all have them. Like, so it's not even like, that wasn't for me to be putting you on blast or anything, because I know I have mine and you tell me about mine. So,
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no.
I don't have any. I don't have any icks.
No.
Forget about it.
No, you did say. So you said like leaving around, but it's like something about like your partner's like, so obviously, yeah, that's like, oh, forgetting things or leaving things around. But is there something about like, I don't know, like something that they just naturally do, or like maybe like the way they do things that kind of also annoys you? Because I can speak about, I definitely have icks, and this is not even with like romantic relationships, but just people.
I guess the phone thing. Like, if someone's on their phone too much, like technology, I'm someone that's... I don't know, I like to have a conversation with someone. I like to, when I'm talking to someone, I can't stand someone that would decide to just be like...
Yeah, that doesn't...
While you're talking to someone, I feel like that's disrespectful. What else? I can't think of anything else, but I know that I'll do an Instagram post on this for sure, because I know I got some.
I think for me, one of my pet peeves is I had it in my head. Damn it. No, so one of my pet peeves, and this is just in general, it's not necessarily like in relationship, like it's just platonic relationships as well, is like is when people don't do what they say they're going to do.
That's a deal breaker for me. That's like, more than an ick. That's more than a pet peeve. That is like something that drives me absolutely insane. Like, if it keeps on happening, you say and you do something and then you don't do it, and it not like, oh, I'll be there at 7 and you're there at 7:15. That doesn't bother me. But when someone's there like an hour and a half later, or they say they're gonna do something and they don't, like that. For me, that screams you're not committing yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
And it's like half lying. I don't know, I see it as lying and no non-commitment. So I just get so vexed about it. But is that your ick?
It's like, so, like, I guess more context to that, because that's a very, like, broad statement. I think it's very much in terms of, okay, so specifically, my pet peeve is, if the person has a certain standard that they set out, and then I abide to that certain standard, but what they do contradicts their own standard, that's my pet peeve. So an example,
okay,
to kind of like clarify what I mean, is, so if someone says it's like, oh, I really need clear communication. I want to know, like you're telling me this time, I expect, like, I need punctuality. So if I'm like late or whatever, you would tell me like, oh, I don't like it. But then they do the same thing and they don't have that same level of understanding. So you're expecting me to be mindful, but you're doing the same thing and then expect me to be lenient about it. Like, I think that's my biggest pet peeve. It's like, if you have a standard, fine, but you gotta live by it. You can't say one thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I can think of one thing that I do in that element. I don't like people being late, but I'm time blind. I hate people being late for me, but I'm time blind.
Yeah. See,
so that's technically
that's a pet peeve.
That's a pet peeve for you.
That's a pet peeve. like it's not a deal breaker, because at that point, like, I love you, like, I understand who you are, blah blah blah, but it does irritate me. And sometimes, like if you catch me in the wrong time of the month, I'm just like,
hormones all over the place.
Like, I literally, like, in my head, I'm cussing you out, but I'm just walking away and biting my tongue because it's not worth the argument.
Why? So you wouldn't even say nothing?
No, I wouldn't say anything.
Oh, if I have an ick, I have to say.
Huh? No, I think there's certain things that I just choose. I think I've learned to pick my battles.
Yeah.
So I've learned to pick my battles.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So there's certain things that I'm just like, it's not worth the headache. Like, in the end. Like, because I know I'll forget about it in, like, an hour.
Yeah.
Or, like, in 2 hours or whatever. If it bothers me consistently for, like, a long period of time and it actually, like, is on my mind, I will say something. But if I know I'll forget it, I'm just like, in the moment, I'm annoyed. But I know I'll forget it, like... I'll get over it really quickly, so I wouldn't say it. But that would be a pet peeve. That's, like, kind of a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair pet peeve.
Yeah. I think there's others, but I think that's, like, the major one I think I've been kind of thinking about more recently. Not to say that anyone has been doing it, just in general.
Yeah. Because
I think I was just talking about, like, pet peeves and things like that. So I think that's been the main one. I don't know. Can you think of any other?
I think, like, I was just thinking about it, and I don't know. I think one depends on the person. Like, for me, when I get annoyed about something, it has to be somewhat connected to a deal breaker energy. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So I don't feel like I have necessarily, like, oh, I hate the word ick. I don't know. Ick makes me feel like, makes it sound like you're disgusted by someone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's icky. You know?
Okay.
And I don't feel like...
No, that's
when
true.
I'm in a relationship, I don't feel disgusted by...
Yeah.
By my partner. Like, what the hell?
I think it's just a trend word at the moment.
I know, I hate it. Yeah. It started in Love Island, and then, like, everyone started getting, like, saying it, and I think that's why I just never understood it.
I think that's why I meant, like, pet peeves, because it's like,
like
a little annoyance. Yeah.
I still can't think of any. But I feel like when I get annoyed at something, it's like the deal breaker energy. So if someone, like, and maybe I need to work on my patience on this, I don't know. But maybe it's like when someone...
I love the self-awareness.
I don't know, you got to have a bit of a reflection. But if something keeps happening, like the little things keep them building up, that's when I'll get really irritated. And, like, that's for someone then to work on. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like I get icky or annoyed about something that someone does. I don't know, I can't think of any. Maybe I'm just not annoyed right now.
I would disagree. I love you, but I would disagree.
Okay, tell me something now. What?
I think you're quite clear in your communication when you're annoyed about something.
Yeah, I'll say it straight away, 100%.
Yeah. So I think to say that you don't get annoyed.
And I think that's why when people are like, oh, that's my ick, maybe they just keep it in. I don't know. But whenever I'm annoyed about something or something irritates me, I always say it to the person.
Yeah, but that means, like, you have an irritation. So I think when you were saying, like, maybe I don't get annoyed about it, I was like, you do get annoyed about things.
Yeah, true. But I say it. I wouldn't keep it in like you. That's where me and you are probably different. I don't really hold my tongue or ingest something that annoys me. I feel like that would build up inside of me. That's the type of person that I am, maybe, and maybe it's a difference in personality. But when I hold something inside, I feel like I can't let it go, and it will build up and build up and build up until it becomes something massive. So if I just say it, and it's not like, it's a major issue, but I feel like I have to communicate it. Otherwise, I don't know, because potentially could be a problem. Because then the other person's not knowing that actually that does annoy me, and I feel like if your partner loves and respects you, depends what obviously it is, they would kind of listen to that and try and work on that little annoyance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. I think for me it's just over the years it's like I'm able to differentiate between like what's just a small annoyance and sometimes it's an annoyance because of just I'm stressed. Like it's the 150 thing that's happened that day, so it's literally just a cherry on the top. But I know on a good day, like it wouldn't bother me, kind of thing. So I think from that perspective, I just know and ascertain like what's worth actually having a discussion about, and what is just a me thing in that moment of time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't actually need to make that someone else's problem.
I think we're all growing. With these types of things, we're all learning, what is a deal breaker, what is just a little annoyance, how do we communicate this, the whole point of being in a relationship is to kind of work things out and grow together and kind of come to a union. So people are going to get it wrong, and it's just about how you can work that out, and listen to each other.
I think that's the biggest thing. It is like, I guess, like to end it really. I think the overarching biggest issue around these type of things is that when people don't learn how to communicate with each other well, and that's like understanding each other's communication, because the way you communicate is very different to how I communicate. And it's then like if you are in a relationship, whether that's a friendship, whether that's like a romantic relationship, whatever, like I think it's important that we learn how the other person receives communication as well as like communicates themselves, and so that we can tailor our style of communication towards each other. I think too often people just go like, well, that's just who I am. And then there's no leeway. There's no leeway. And then it's just like, take me or leave me. And it's like, okay, that works in certain situations, but it's also not it's not realistic all the time, especially if you're trying to build long-lasting relationships.
100%.
Because otherwise you end up falling out with people all the time when their perceptions changes or their opinions change and things. So I think it's learning how to become flexible with the people that you want in your life. But
there's definitely certain things that people should not allow.
No, there's boundaries, but that's what we're talking about boundaries.
Like, I was just going back to thinking about people bending their things.
But that's the difference. There is being flexible to accommodate for learning each other. And then there is like breaking your own boundaries.
And I think people get confused. I think people don't actually know the line and where that is.
Yeah. But I think that comes back down to understanding your value. But before, that's a whole other episode and a whole other discussion.
There's other stories.
There's so many things
to say.
But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments, what are your relationship deal breakers? Do you have any pet peeves? And how do you deal with the pet peeves? Like, is there something that your significant other does that absolutely drives you up the wall?
How do you deal with that?
How do you deal with that? Or do you have a best friend that like has just that one thing? You love them, but there is just but yeah, let us know in the comments. Like, follow, and subscribe. Yeah. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Sweet, I'm so tired.